Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stu Wetstein, and welcome back. This is your bonus module with the Job Interview Mastery Training course, the College Grad Edition, and we're going to talk about the top 10 job interview questions. Those that you're most likely going to run into in some form or fashion when you get into the interview process, whether it's the phone screen, a Skype, the in-person, the panel, all of those different flavors we talked about. I want to run through and give you my take on these top 10 questions, but more importantly, I'm going to give you a little insight into probably why they're asking this question. Let's start with number one. Why did you select the university that you selected? This may be a long story for you, this may be a short story for you, but rather than ramble on about why I chose Long Beach State where I went, I'd rather say you know why you chose the university that you selected. What they're looking for in this question is for you to elaborate a little bit about your selection process. Did you consider different schools? Did you consider them based on location? Did you consider them based on a specific degree that you were trying to pursue? Did you consider them at all, or did you happen to get into the last school that you could under the deadline? That's what that question is trying to figure out. Your selection process, how you evaluate, and maybe to give a little bit of insight into who you are as a person. This is a great question, so don't just say, oh, I chose, the University of Notre Dame because I'm just a huge fan of the movie Rudy. Okay, number two. If they were to ask one of your professors or a boss to describe you, what would they say about you? Now, what do you think we're trying to get to with this question? They're looking for something that can shed some light on work ethic. Are you a natural leader? Are you a team player? Are you a motivator? Were you late to class all the time? Think about this question and instead of saying they would all say that I'm great, they would all say that I'm awesome, think about it. Come up with a case study. Come up with one or two flavors about a professor, or better yet, someone who's a boss, someone, a supervisor, whether it's an internship or otherwise, where you can shed some light on a good quality about yourself, or even better, something that you learned that they would hopefully attest to. Well, when Stu first started here, at the car wash, he didn't know that much about washing cars, but after 6 months, he started to get the hang of it. That makes sense? I do these little extremes just to be funny. Number three, tell me about yourself. Now, I mentioned this question earlier in the course because this is one of those warm-up questions that a lot of candidates, especially when you're right out of school, you can fall right into the big giant rabbit hole that says, oh my God, they asked me about myself. Well, let's see, I was born, and then I had parents, and then I went to elementary school, and this one time I was dropped off at Little League. This is not a 14-minute question. This is to give a little bit of an insight to yourself, not just to say why you're applying for the job, not just to say why you have good skills. This is something about you. So this is one of those we talked about practice. Have a good story for this one, something that you might want to highlight about yourself, something that you accomplished in high school or college or a sport that you have pursued, something that's unique, that's special, because it's going to differentiate you from the rest of the candidates. Okay, so number four, what motivates you? Now, you know this answer better than I'm ever going to know for you, but hopefully it's something. Hopefully there's something that motivates you. It may be because you want to be the best at something. It may be because you have tried to impress people. It may be because that you're trying to gain knowledge. You need to have a story, hopefully, about something that you took on. Maybe it was yoga, maybe it was a new sport, maybe something outside your comfort zone. And what motivated you to hopefully accomplish that, to achieve that, or to continue the pursuit? Again, this is insight in if they're going to hire you and they're going to put you into a whole bunch of stuff that's unfamiliar to you, how are you going to react? Are you going to be motivated? Are you going to self-motivate? Or are you going to keep yourself focused so that you achieve the goal? Number five, what qualities are you looking for in a boss or a supervisor? Or more importantly, what qualities are you not looking for? So this is a chance where you might be tempted to list, well, I don't want to work for somebody who's a micromanager or somebody who's going to yell at me or scream at me or tell me what to do or give me unrealistic deadlines. But the reality is you're right out of college. So when you answer this question, you want this to represent you. And of course, I want you to be straight, but I want this to represent you in a way that you're flexible, open, easy to deal with change, and basically whatever boss that they throw at you, you're going to be able to work with. That's kind of the answer they're looking for. Okay, number six, why did you choose this industry, company, or more importantly, us? And again, I don't know this answer for you, but this is an opportunity. This is one of those bio moments. This is one of those elevator pitch moments where you can link together a nice little 30 to 45-second story about, I've always been interested in healthcare. I've always been interested in finance. When I first got into college, I was interested in finance, but you know what? The more courses I took, I decided to change my major, and I got a liberal arts degree. Your story, this is your chance, but it should be nice and neatly tied up with why you're interested in that company. And don't make it about something that you guys are really popular, or I know this is an industry that's growing, because in the end, it sounds like you're just trying to get on board with something that's doing well, and then if that changes, you might not be there. Okay, number 7. What have you learned from your successes? That's the easy one, right? We can always sit in the interviews and say, I did this, I accomplished this, I accomplished that. But the real good stuff, the candidates that really separate themselves, when you talk about your failures. What do you mean, failures? I can't talk about failure in an interview. Yeah, you can. My sense is whatever you have done in your life, whether it's a sport, whether it's something that was related to your academics, whether it was learning to drive a car, you did not know how to do that the first time you did it. That's where this story comes in. Talk about a time that you started in on something, and obviously if it can be work-related or school-related, so much the better, and you stumbled at first, and then you had to get some instruction, and you had to have a mentor, and you made this transcendence, and then you got good at it. The failure story, and if you don't want to take my word for it, just go browse any bookstore. Most of the business books, most of the self-help books, most of the life story books are about going through a transition when you weren't good at something and how you came out on the other end. That's what that question's looking for. All right, number 8. What are you most proud of? And we talked earlier in this course about you're not looking to brag, you're not looking to go on and on about I am the greatest thing, since sliced bread. But you should have something you're proud of. There should be some accomplishment. If you're basically somewhere north of 20 years old, you've hopefully done something up to this point that you're proud of. And I know you have. But again, think about this one and think about what that story is. Because I've had candidates take this question and they're like, well, I was part of a group in this one class and we weren't really doing well and I gave some feedback and I was proud of that. It doesn't sound like that's like a life transitional story, something that people can sink their teeth into and go, this is why I remember Stu. This is why I like him over the other candidate, because there was something passionate about that story he talked about. That makes sense? Okay, let's talk about number 9. We've got 2 to go. Where do you see yourself, the infamous in 1, 3, 5, 10, 20 years question? Every time they ask you this question, just say, in your job, on vacation, on the beach. No, I'm just kidding. Don't say that. But that's what they're looking to hear you say. This is really are you goal-oriented? Do you have a vision? Do you have a plan type of question? But the other thing that they're really looking for insight here is, are you going to be satisfied with this? Are you going to grow here? Are you looking to do this because you need a job right now or because you just got done with college and this is the next best step? So nobody can effectively answer, truth be told, any of these questions unless you're a fortune teller, in which case you probably should do something else other than looking for a job. But give a little insight into what you believe your career is going to be. I studied this company, this opportunity is a great first step for me. It's a great next step because I already had my first job to get me to where I'd like to be. Well, what's that going to be? Eventually, I'd like to be in leadership. I'd like to be the head of a sales department. I'd like to have my own department. You know what those answers are for you. But again, what's really the insight is I'm looking to gain knowledge. I'm looking to learn from all of the people at this company. I'm looking to grow on my responsibility. Not that I'm looking for something, I want to be in your job and I want to be in your job. So much so that in the interview, I stop talking about the job I'm applying for and I start talking about your job and what I can grow to. So let me just take a quick side note. It's easy to fall into in any of these for this, but I want to show that I'm ambitious. I want to show that I want to move to the next step. Yes, but never forget, you're there to interview for the job that they're interviewing you for, not for the job 2 steps from now. Because what can happen, and I've heard this so many times where in the feedback from a hiring manager, an HR professional, or whomever, that, Stu sounded like a good candidate, but the reality is I could tell that he was just seeing this job as a stepping stone because the first thing he asked me was, when would I be eligible for transfer? When would I be eligible for promotion? So don't kind of fall prey for that. Okay, number 10, the last one. This is an easy one, but what's nice in 2013, you get more and more managers who want to cut through the bull and they just want to know, look, it's been a long day. I've interviewed a lot of candidates. Maybe some of them have been great. Maybe some of them haven't. Why should we hire you? Now, this is a step beyond the bio because this isn't the introduction. This isn't you just talking about everything about your career. This is that nice summation when we talked about in the module about the interview. going for the close. This is based on that. Well, to be honest, I've always been a fan of this company. I've been a customer of this company. I've researched this company. I wanted to do an internship. I didn't get selected here, but this is my dream gig. Maybe that isn't your answer, but you want to give insight into why you're interested there, and then again, why you. What's so special about you? That's what we've been talking about in this whole program, is what's unique about you. Your perspective, what makes you special? Again, did your family have a business? Did you grow up sweeping the floors or waiting tables in a family business? Or did you grow up in a corporate, family where every night the dinner table conversation was about problem solving and, really, kind of big time executive stuff? Whatever that is, that's your story. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for you to say, I just finished school and I can get up on time and I can show up and I work hard. A lot of those are given in this day and age. Don't miss an opportunity when someone asks you this question, if it's the 10th question they ask you, as it is here on this list, or if it's the very first question. You may sit down with a hiring manager, who's had a long day, and they might just say, you know what, Stu? Can I just ask you this straight away? What is so special about you? Like, why on earth? I got 1,000 other people I'm supposed to see, and I'm running behind. Why should I hire you? I encourage you to practice this. I encourage you to practice this in the mirror, use your smartphone, and use that support group that we've been talking about all through this so that you can have not a rehearsed, not a scripted, not something that makes you look awkward, but something that is genuine, that highlights your skills, something you've learned through your 20 years, through your 18 years of going to school and going through college, and last but not least, why you are the candidate that they should choose. Don't ever shy away from saying, I know you're going to see a lot of talented people, but I want you to know that I'm the one. Well, you're the one. You know what I mean. So that's your bonus section. These are the top 10. You can look, across the universe and you will find a million common questions, but they're based mostly on these top 10 to give insight into how great a candidate you're going to be. Are you going to stick with the job? Are you flexible? Can you manage change? And are you going to work hopefully as hard as you worked in college, or maybe as you worked in your last year of college to get out of college at this job? That's what they're looking to find out. That's your top 10 most commonly asked interview questions. And as we always like to say here at Recruiter Confidential, get out there and go get them.